begins with James Cook Sr., a farm labourer and son of a Scotsman who married Grace Pace of Thornhill, North Yorkshire in 1725. Their marriage saw the birth of 8 children: John, James, Christiana, Mary, Jane, Mary, Margaret and William. 4 of their children did not survive infancy, which was common for this time. James, the second eldest, would rise from these humble beginnings to become one of Britain's most accomplished navigators. The young James attended school at grade 18, sponsored by the local lord of the manor, Sir Thomas Scotto. He also employed James's father. At age 17, Cook was apprenticed as a shop boy to a grocer and haberdasher in the nearby village of Staines. But only 18 months later, he began an apprenticeship to shipowner John Walker in the port of Whitby. James crewed colliers, also known as Whitby Cats. These were ships built for hauling coal up and down the coast between Newcastle and London. All through his apprenticeship, James continued his studies of navigation and mathematics. At the end of his apprenticeship, James was offered the enviable post of ship's master on a merchant ship. But instead, James had a mind to try his fortune in the Royal Navy. It's been suggested that James's old patron, Lord Scotto, purchased the land where the cottage was built for the Cooks, a kind of enticement for James to volunteer for the Navy in a time when many young men were being press-ganged into service. This was in 1755, the same year the cottage was built. The family tree grows when James Cook marries Elizabeth Batts on the 21st of December 1762. Elizabeth was 21 at the time, 13 years younger than her new husband. When 19, James lived with Elizabeth in the East End of London at 88 Mile End Road. This home has since been demolished. As Cook was often at sea, of the 16 years they were married, the couple spent only 4 years in total together. James and Elizabeth had 6 children, 5 boys: James, Nathaniel, Joseph, George, Hugh, and a daughter, Elizabeth. Only James, Hugh, and Nathaniel survived into adulthood, but they too died before Elizabeth. Both Nathaniel and James were lost at sea, and Hugh died of scarlet fever while a student at Cambridge. With her husband at sea, Elizabeth faced these losses alone. Elizabeth lived another 56 years after her husband's death, and 41 years after her last child died. Before her death on the 13th of May 1835, at the age of 93, Elizabeth destroyed all her private papers and correspondence with her husband, creating mystery around this woman and the private life she shared with Captain Cook. There are no direct descendants of Captain James Cook. All of his 6 children having died without children of their own.
Hello there, and welcome to my cottage. My name is James Cook, Senior that is, and this is the house I built in 1755 for my wife Grace, the children and myself, here in the village of Great Ayton, Yorkshire. Life here is changing fast at the moment. Many people are finding their work supporting the new coal and textile industries. Myself, I was a farm worker, and now do a bit of stonemasonry. You may have noticed my carving over the door. But now, Grace and I lead a fairly simple life, if not without a bit of work. Let me tell you some more about our home and lives here. Downstairs is the kitchen where the family gathers for meals and the warmth of the fireplace. Mind you don't get too close though. Many a poor lass has died by accidentally catching her skirts on the fumes. And watch your head too. The doorway is slightly shorter than you're used to. If our James were to visit, he'd surely bump his head, what with being over 6 foot. The windows are small and few due to King George III's window tax, not to mention the cost of glass, so it can be quite dark inside. Only richer folk or those with a wealthy patron can send their children to school, and even then it's usually only the boys, whilst the girls are expected to take part in running the household. Our younger children help about the house, fetching water, helping in the garden and the like. But nowadays, many are being put to work in the new factories. There's not a lot of time for play, but jumping rope and running games are popular with the young ones. You'll have seen where we sleep, in the upstairs bedroom, but there's the delicate question of the toilet. We've got some chamber pots should we need to answer the call of nature in the night. Otherwise, it's a bit of a walk to the privy. We don't waste anything though. Yearling helps get the stains out in the laundry. Now, our garden. That's an important part of life here. We grow a lot of our own vegetables. Meat can be expensive, so what we can grow makes up most of what we eat. We can also sell any extra produce for extra money. The garden's not only for food though, no. Mrs. Cook can cure all sorts of illness with the herbs, flowers and plants here. Angelica and rose hips can treat your colds and coughs, and some comfrey, which we also call nip balm and bone set, will set you right if you ever have a nasty broken bone. So welcome, and make yourself at home.